Alright guys, it's Sunday here and I'm doing a bit of meal prep for the week. So a little bit of chicken breast here made, of course some wild salmon and some broccoli. These chicken breasts are a little bit bigger than normal. They're not quote organic, they're regular. I decided to use them because I had them in my fridge for, I don't even know how long they've been my freezer for forever, so I thought I should just use them. So my stove upstairs broke, so I'm using I got a suite in this place, so that's why I'm using this little stove. So there you have it, a few little staples of my wheat.
10 Nation is day 30 of the Fit and 10 Challenge, and that is some of the food I eat, obviously, on a daily basis. The salmon is obviously a great source of protein, but it's also a great source of fat. The chicken is a very lean source of protein, so it's just protein, and of course the broccoli is a source of carbohydrates, although it's not really a great source of carbohydrates because it's very calorically sparse. It doesn't really have much in it, but I eat it for the micronutrients and the fiber more so. My diet is low in carbohydrates. If I chose to have carbohydrates, I'd have potato and rice. So I'd make like a pot of rice and I'd make some baked potato, and I would definitely have some oatmeal in my diet. Those would all be great sources of starchy carbohydrates. But I have more fat in my diet instead of carbs. It's not considered ketogenic, in case you're wondering. It's just I feel better with higher fat in my diet and higher protein, of course, which I will always stress to everybody who's trying to have some balance in their eating regime, and especially for those who are trying to lose body fat. But I still have some carbohydrates. I don't restrict them per se. I mean, I just have trace carbs, and they add up to about 120 grams per day, ish. All right. But my calories are always between about 2,800 and 3,000 per day. Okay, sometimes 3,100, somewhere in there. Okay, let's talk about a few things here. Somebody wasn't happy with their scan results, and I want to go through this. This person actually dropped 4.5 pounds in between the two scans. They dropped a little bit of fat, about a pound, and the rest was water. Okay, so let me explain this a little bit so you have a better understanding. So there are a number of ways you can lose water. All right, so let me talk about the most common ways in regards to the challenge. This challenge is relative, so in the sense of if you were having a lot of carbohydrates before and you drop those carbohydrates down, you will be more carbohydrate depleted, which means you'll have less glycogen in the muscle, which means less water, and you will show as less muscle mass. Okay, so that's one way. So you made a dramatic drop in your carbohydrates. Okay, or I made that drop to your diet unknowingly because I didn't know what your carbohydrates were before. Another reason might be if you were doing a lot of cardio. All right, so if you kept doing a lot of, if you introduced a lot more cardio into your, more than I've even suggested that you do, you're going to burn through more glycogen, and of course you can lose water in the muscle. All right. The other reason could be even just sodium. So you need sodium to get water into the muscle. If your diet's very low in sodium, you can see that as well. It can definitely have an effect in terms of how much water the muscle holds. Okay, and just in general, a drop in calories. So either you're not eating enough, or you're doing an excessive amount of exercise. So again, that's gonna reduce water in the muscle. So all these things are going to cause you to lose water in the muscle. It's going to make you look like you lost muscle mass, which you probably didn't, and so that's why you see a drop of 4.5 pounds, but only a pound of muscle. Okay, so listen, if you want to make scans look really good without telling you exactly what to do, just do things that make you have a lot of water in your muscle. That's all I'm going to say. All right. In theory, that should be the best. All right, next question here. Width grip on pull downs. So how wide do you go? Well, there isn't a one grip width that is the best. But I will tell you this much, okay? Generally speaking, you want to do a pull down anywhere from having your arms directly over your head to having your arms about 45 degrees above parallel, okay? So directly overhead to 45 degrees above parallel. Now, above parallel. That being said, if you do a pull down like this, you're gonna notice you get a lot of flexion in your elbow, a lot of bend. There's lots of this happening. And as a result, that's gonna be very bicep driven, okay? If you pull down on a wider at the bottom, you're not as flexed at the elbow, which means less bicep, all right? So as such, if you go with a wider grip within reason, so say out here, should be more back driven, less bicep driven. This will be more bicep driven, okay? All right, and the next question here, how do I safely fail when I'm lifting heavy? All right, this is a very good question, and this is one that I could talk about for quite a while, so I'm gonna try to make this as short as possible. This person actually mentioned with squats. So with squats, you want to set the safeties up, that is those little bars that run along the cage on the side. You want to set those up at a level where they basically meet the bar at the point where you would come down at the bottom, right? So, you know, on the cage, maybe that's like, say, 7 or 8 holes up from the last one. That's where you would set the safeties, and then if you came down, you couldn't get up, you could just put the bar onto the safeties, okay? If you're doing a bench press, you want to have somebody there to spot you, okay? Generally speaking, you want to have somebody there to spot you, okay? When you're doing something like a deadlift, obviously, if you don't get it up, it's just going to go to the ground, so no big deal there. Okay, overhead press, again with a dumbbell, you don't get it up, well, it's just going to come back down. You should be okay. But, you know, generally with those things like a squat or a bench press, you know, maybe a seated overhead press, which you guys don't typically do. What are some other examples where you might need a spot that you couldn't get out of? Incline press, these types of things. You know, you would have somebody help you do them, okay? You have somebody behind you to assist you. All right, that's going to give you the most confidence when you're training, okay? And you'll feel the safest. If you don't feel 100% confident with the weight, like if it feels really, really heavy and you don't know, like you're like, oh, I think I'm gonna I don't know what I'm gonna do if I can't get up. You're not even gonna be able to push as hard as you normally can. You'll just kind of you'll be too scared. So, you know, my suggestion is to have a partner, and it's good. I know this person that wrote this question comes to class, so you know, if you don't, try to come to the gym with somebody that can help you, okay? But hopefully you're coming to classes, at least my classes at least. All right? Remember, proximity is power, so hopefully you're coming to the classes. You ought to be. I know a lot of you are not. Well, not a lot of you, but some of you are not. All right. Now, this is the week of quitting, right? As I said. So, you know, I'm going to encourage you guys. This is exactly the point where things just ramp up and get so much better for you. So stick it out, you guys. Quite often when people quit, it is often the time where they're like this close to having some success, okay? But hey, do you want to know what the difference is between a master and a beginner? This is one of my favorites, by the way. The master has failed many, many more times than the beginner has even tried, okay? The master has failed many more times than the beginner has even tried. So remember that, all right? If you want to master something, if you want to be good at something, if you want to achieve anything of any great measure, you have to go through many, I call them mini failures, okay? Because they're not really failures. It's just stuff that happens along the way that is, you know, in your mind not deemed as successful. But the way I look at it is when you encounter these failures or these bumps or hurdles, you're getting closer to where you need to be. And this is the only way you really learn. I mean, if everything's smooth, I mean, there can't be much that you're learning from it, okay, generally speaking. All right, so submit and commit, you guys. I'm going to be teaching more this week, so if you're coming up to the classes, you will see a lot more of me. Gustavo's away, and I will talk to you guys all soon. See you guys.